everybody, it's Annette. Happy Monday. I want to continue our series on getting prepared physically, mentally, and spiritually for the fall and the winter. So days are getting shorter. It was already getting dark between 7:15 and 7:30 tonight. Had my little headlamp out there while I was doing my evening errands and watering some of the plants. But then, how are we going to maintain our physical well-being when, again, the days are shorter, it gets cold, we can't get outside like we want to? So I am a member at a fitness center, and I'm going to try to do better this year than I did last year. But let me tell you, my problem is, and it's not an excuse, but it's just the reality of the thing, is that when the days start getting shorter and then we have that fall back that I really, really don't like at all. I'm in a rural area. So anybody who is in the city or is not in a rural area won't really get what I'm talking about. People who are in rural areas will know what I mean. That's when the deer are active. They're going to start getting active starting October. And I've seen them active up till like February around here. But October, November especially are very, very dangerous times to be on the road at night. I have hit, I drive a small car, and I had to replace my last car, but I've hit 3 deer in just a few short years. And that's even with deer whistles on there. That's with just having my head on a swivel and looking out for them, to where now I really have gotten, I call it deer PTSD, because when I'm coming home, the days I do work away from the house and I'm coming home and it's dark, it's one stretch of road that is really notorious for deer leaping out in front of you. And it's not really the deer fault. There's been some, obviously we had the Hurricane Helene last year, displacement of animals. Prior to that, a couple of years prior to that, there were fires in the North Carolina mountains. A lot of animals were displaced. And then again, this past summer, we had fires in Polk County. So compound all that with people moving, and thank God we're not having a lot of overdevelopment here. I can't imagine, when I go to bigger cities and I don't see any green, I go nuts. I'm used to seeing land and space. But they are doing a bypass around here, and it is disturbing some of the trees and restructuring the way some of the roads are going. So I'm just anticipating more deer movement. But anyway, to get to the point, whenever I'm going home from work, on the road that I hit, oh my gosh, my second deer, which was most traumatic for me because it was a big girl. She came out of nowhere, and it took 10 minutes for her to pass. I was out of the car, just upset and apologizing to the deer. My car's front end is all wrecked up, and I'm apologizing to the deer. But I mean, I did. I felt so bad because I do help with animal rescue. So I'm there just petting her, trying to comfort her, saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And those of you who hunt or are more acclimatized to seeing things like this and are not as wimpy as I am, I guess, you might think that's silly, but it felt really bad to me. It would have felt bad under any circumstance, but her taking the 10 minutes to die was very hard. So when I'm going home from work and I can feel it, my mouth, my teeth start clenching, my hands are on the wheel. They just get tighter and tighter. I don't think I could grip it any tighter if I tried. And then my head's going like this. I've got like, it's ridiculous. I look like a turtle. And the whole ride, and I'm going 40 or 45, praying nobody is behind me on that road. And if they are, I'll try to scoot on a little bit, but I still don't go too fast. And then keeping my lights on bright, and always somebody coming the other way. So I'm like, oh God, y'all, come on. So last year, I honestly didn't work out like I needed to, as far as like driving to the fitness center in the evenings. I did stuff at home, yoga at home. I pulled out the mat and there's so many yoga classes. But I'm going to try to do better. So do what you can within your capability. If you're like me and you can't drive at night, there are dance videos, there are yoga videos. If you have mobility issues, I've said it before, you can do it from a seated position. And it really will help with some of that stiffness that you're going to feel, especially in your lower back if you sit a lot at home or doing work or whatever. So that's one thing I recommend for fitness. I do have a treadmill over here. I do use it, actually. It doesn't just collect dust. I do use it. Prior to my PRP in my knees, most of that was being done outside. It's a big difference when you're on a treadmill and then you're going outside to do it, because the treadmill kind of helps you along, kind of trotting along at the speed of the treadmill. Then when you're on the road or path or whatever, it's all you. There's no belt under you helping you guide along. So that's one of the things I'm planning to do for my fitness, is to do the yoga classes inside, continue to go maybe on the weekends or whatever during the day, and go to the fitness center and work on some ellipticals for upper body and lower body strength. And then the other thing I'm doing, which is behind me, I started this last year, putting some herbs under the grow lights. I don't have them on right now. They're off for the night. They'll come back on in the morning about 7 o'clock. They're set on a 12-hour timer. So later on, I'll kind of maybe walk you through that and let you see what it looks like with them all lit up and my setup. I'm not finished with it. I'm still determining what plants to bring in. And then I got my outside plants, and then how I'm going to set it up. Some of these bigger pots are going to need to go on the floor, but I've got these little wire cages I'm going to get to put around there, because I got 2 foster cats down here, and I'd rather them not dig in it. If they see the plant on the ground, they're going to want to dig in there, and they're going to think it's an extra litter box. So I brought some things. I'm trying to multitask. So I'm going to show you some of the other things I do to prepare physically for winter, because we're not going to have the access to the fresh fruit and vegetables that we do at this time of the year. Had some wonderful harvest. We'll still have citrus and stuff. My precious watermelon, I'm going to just have to do without, probably. Obviously, it's not going to be in season. If there's anything at the store, it's going to taste like, it's not going to taste good. So for eating, I really, really like crock pot things, especially when it gets cold. I've got and this is just a brand. This is no particular recommended brand. It's just a can of stuff I got. 69 cents at one of those discount thrift stores. It's not bent. Okay. It's actually a store you can get, like, in some of these smaller towns, rural areas, we have discount grocery stores, and you can get stuff like this. So I got this for 69 cents, and it's good through 2026. And we know that's the recommended shelf life. It'll go a little longer than that. But I got probably enough of these dark kidney beans to last through an apocalypse, because I love cooking them in the crock pot over the winter, doing chilies and soups and stuff like that. I've got some canned soups. I've got tomatoes I canned from last year. But I really love having the comfort of hot food in the crock pot. You can leave it in there, go to work or go to your Sunday service, come back, and got a nice hot meal waiting on you. And there's something comforting about that. And it's good. It's not like the processed food that you would pop in the oven, like frozen pizzas, frozen anything, basically. So try to eat that. The fruit is a little trickier. I do stay with the bananas, the grapefruit, and I did freeze some figs. I may do that into like a cobbler with some stevia. I don't know yet, but I really, really miss the summer crops. And so I did bring some inside. I did start some inside. I got green beans behind me. I got 2 tomato plants. I got zucchini, squash, and a cucumber, and 1 eggplant. So I've never done those type of plants under grow lights. So either they'll work or I'll have spent like $2.25 per tray on them and nothing happens. We'll see. The other thing that I do is, as before the cold comes in, I'm cutting back some of the herbs I have. And yesterday I bought some fresh herb, some parsley, because I want to root it. So I put it in water. I hope it'll root. But I did have a lot of sprigs left over, so I started my parsley. I'm going to use this probably more so for a tea blend. I want to make a tea with different herbs in there and use this in a blend. But I just put these in the oven, and the stuff I saw online said 170 degrees at 15 minutes. It actually took 180 degrees for me at 25, so it's kind of, you're going to have to feel your way around that. 170 to 180, you don't want to scorch it, but you don't want it to be moist, because then it's going to develop mold. So did that with some of my herbs, and then cut back some of my rosemary. Hung this to dry, and I still have some to clip. This is a very small amount. This is what I've done this year so far. But I hung it to dry for 2 weeks and then just peeled it off. It's a little sticky. I didn't know that. But have rosemary. Rosemary is great for being an antiviral. When everybody around you starts getting sick, this is a really go-to herb. This is great, whether essential oil or drinking it in a tea. And I've even cooked with it too. It's just a really wonderful spice. It's so fragrant. And I've got more herbs, but the other one that I am growing, and this is left over from last year's harvest. This was the mint. This was brought inside. It grew inside under grow lights. It was cut, dried in my closet down here. I have a little closet in the basement, like a cupboard, hung dried. And when I open it up, even though this was last year's harvest, it smells amazing. It's got that wonderful, wonderful mint smell. So some of the mint I have put outside in the ground, and then some I'm going to leave in pots and bring in here. So what I have in the ground before it gets cold, when they start looking, probably in another week or so, I'm kind of like, just, they're growing so well, I want it bigger, better, go big or go home. And then I'll cut them back and hang them to dry, and then process them and put them in another container, because, old first and then new goes behind that. So we'll see how the herbs go, but trying to stay healthy, not getting sick, trying to drink the herbal teas to protect myself. And 4.5 weeks post PRP. Most of your herbal teas, most of your herbs, period, have anti-inflammatory properties. So I've not been taking that due to the PRP, because apparently the anti-inflammatory blocks what the platelets do to help heal. So I'm going to wait till then, week and a half. Should still be able to start deep diving into my herbs and hitting that before flu season. So drinking the herbs, comfort foods, yummy, healthy, hearty comfort foods, to where we don't feel just bloated and nasty, and it just kind of helps feel better. The lights from the grow lights, actually last year I was surprised, and we'll touch on this when we talk about mentally prepared, because last year, the first time, that was the least seasonal affective disorder that I had ever. Having these grow lights on and having something to take care of. That made a big difference in my depression, because after Christmas and then all that sugar, and I'm coming down off of that, and all the food we've been eating, and yeah, I like to eat. There's a lot of good stuff, but you admit, and I'll admit, it kind of feels icky after. So having this and then coming down from all that celebration, all the activities and everything, and then you got that downtime where you're going, oh, I'm sad. That helped a lot. And one set of 5 grow lights, it's called multi-spectrum grow lights. I think it's $24.99 to $29.99 depending on when you look at it. I think I spent $24.99 for the first 2 sets, and I think the next 2 sets that I bought were $29.99, and I'll get one that's specifically dedicated to the floor plants when I move those to the floor. So I'll let you know how everything goes. So tell me, like, what are your strategies for preparing physically for the fall, talking about body? We've talked about the outdoors and the house and everything you have to do around there. But what do you do to take care of yourself for the fall and winter? What helps you with seasonal affective disorder? And let's just have some discussion about that. So I think I said physically, mentally, spiritually. So next time we'll talk about mentally, and that'll also, again, we'll be talking about seasonal affective disorder and some things that help me. And what works for me may not work for you. If you have, your own thing, share it with people. That would be great. I would love to hear what helps you, because I'm not really big on the darkness or the short days. And I venture to say a lot of people who suffer from anxiety or depression, even people who don't suffer from that, get a little bit bluesy during the winter. So it's great talking to you. I need to be quiet. I can talk like a long time on gardening, and so I'm going to put the brakes on this video. I'll talk to you later regarding mental well-being. And until then, I love you, and take care of yourselves.